Welcome back to the Trenchless table, guys. We are here joined by Alan Ludwood of S&S Directional Boring today. This is a part 2 for S&S Directional Boring because we have a lot to cover with them. So with the last episode you guys saw, we added on a few new services for S&S, and we decided to bring Alan in because he's got a great background. Obviously, Cole and I are completely ready for a construction podcast today. We've got the sunglasses on. We're ready to go, Alan. We could go to your crew.
I do have a question about yours, Lee. I know Cole's are safety rated. Are those ready for the job?
No, these are my sons.
Mine are safety rated, but I probably look like I'm 4 years old.
The mustache throws things off.
Cole's just wanting to be an S&S employee. If you guys haven't noticed, S&S employees have to have beards. That's the brand. I am going to lose these, though. So I'm going to take a little advice from Cole. I'm going to toss these at a camera. Oh, nailed it. All right, so back to Alan. Alan.
Mine on.
Yeah, Cole's just going to leave his on for the whole podcast. That's actually better for us. So Alan is a general superintendent for S&S Directional Boring, a.k.a. he likes to call himself the CEO, which is the
Chief Execution Officer.
Basically the get done guy.
That's it.
All right.
That's how I roll.
So Alan, he comes to us from the Marines. He's got history here at S&S Directional Boring that spans about 12-ish years, right, Alan?
Yep.
And Alan is really the guy that I got to know the most by going to job sites. He was my go-to guy for going out to get pictures and everything else. And we'll get into a little bit more about some side hustle jobs and some other things Alan's got going on. And I'd like to point out that Alan's also a hockey player, so we might have some sports references. Cole's favorite thing to do on the podcast.
It's the only thing I have. It's the only thing I bring to the table. You want me to take them off?
No.
You can say it. You're
I'll
a man.
I'll get through it. It's
You're
okay.
grown.
It's okay. So, Alan, I want to kick off by talking a little bit about S&S. We talked a bit on the last podcast about how we added some new services in. So, in your own words, what does S&S do?
That's a great question, Lee. We offer a very wide variety of services. We'll start kind of with a specialty thing that we were just talking about before we got on here with the Inverness pool job that we just finished up. It was directional drilling, but there was a twist. We drilled 12 feet deep underneath 15 feet deep underneath the 12-foot deep section of a pool because their suction lines went to essentially, and so they needed them replaced. So it was one of those custom specialty jobs that they knew us from the past, so they called us up and said, "Hey, can you do this?" A couple of us went up there, took a look at it, said absolutely. And so, did we drill it? Yes, but there was the connection piece to it. There was the kind of the unknown stuff with drilling in a private place like that we had to take into consideration. So. There's the drilling portion with the specialty portion of the connections and going into the building, hooking up to the pumps, repouring the concrete, setting the basins in there. Something you don't do every day. So more exciting stuff than just drilling. Mm-hmm. And then there's the pipe bursting aspect we talked about a little bit before too.
And that's where you like to live, right? Like that's your specialty.
That's been the past few years. Prior to me transitioning into this new position, that was more or less my bread and butter. Crew guys, we'd go out and do pipe bursting on sewer projects, and there's a couple different ways we go about it, but that's kind of the lane that I lived in the past few years with some pretty good-sized jobs here in town and mostly local stuff, but yeah, and we've done it all over the place. But
so the first time that I went on a job site was a pipe bursting job, about a town or two over. Yeah. I think that was Archbold. Oh, Paulding.
Paulding.
Yeah, Paulding had the pipe bursting job. And so I had never seen pipe bursting done because where I came from was all HDD stuff, so horizontal directional drilling. So for anybody that doesn't understand the difference between drilling and pipe bursting, can you explain kind of the process and what that means and for new installation versus existing and all of that stuff?
What he meant to say was for Cole. For anybody who doesn't understand the difference, as we talked about 10 minutes before we
No
started
names.
recording, was for me. Can you explain it to me? Because until now, I thought it was very similar. So I'm ready with a pen for notes to understand better.
So
Freaking A.
can you pipe burst with a drill? Yes.
Check.
But the pipe bursting that we're referencing that Lee came out and saw, so the technology is different. What we do is we dig a pit somewhere along the main line, and we set. We're talking about static pipe bursting here. So we'll set a machine down in the hole, and it's a lot of hydraulic power is how this whole thing functions. So we set the machine down in the hole, and we run rods down the pipe, the existing host pipe. Once we get to the other end, we dig another hole, dig a ramp, and then hook our new pipe onto it. And then we pull the new pipe back through the old pipe. So whatever the host pipe is gets burst out of the way. So we've done a lot of what we do around here is old clay vitrified pipe. So it blows out of the way pretty easy. Most of the time, by the time you even dig it up, it's broken anyways. And that's obviously why we're there. We've done ductile waterline pipe we've burst before, cast waterline pipe. I've pulled through steel casing inadvertently. It was not fun. It came back with it. But so that's, once you get that pipe hooked up and pulled back through with this machine, we get it into the pit and make our connection into the structure. Then we go back through. We've already pre-dug most of the time the laterals coming from the houses. So then we go back through there. We burn a saddle onto the pipe, hook the house back up. Everybody's happy. They can flush their toilet, and away it goes. The other process that we use is a pneumatic pipe bursting, which is the easiest way to explain it is a torpedo-looking hammer that slides inside the new pipe, bolt the head to it, and you run a cable down through the hose pipe by way of the manhole, and then you fire that thing with a big air compressor, and it, as the cable keeps tension on it, then that hammers its way through. There are two different reasons, or there's many different reasons why you would use one over the other one. The pneumatic one is typically used when you have a structure that you don't want to dig or can't dig. Say the structure's in the middle of the road and you want to get a new pipe to it. Mm-hmm. You can hammer into that structure, get the pipe in there in the head, disconnect it, and then reverse that hammer back out so that you don't have to disrupt anything outside the structure.
Is it typically upsizing when you're pipe bursting?
It is typically size on size.
Okay.
We can upsize. I've doubled pipe size probably twice ever. We did a water line a few years ago. We went from a 4 to an 8.
Wow.
And so can it be done? Yes. It's all about the tooling. The ground has a lot to do with it. I mean, there's a lot of variables, obviously, but can it be done? Yes. Do they recommend it? Case by case scenario.
And so this is on clean water and wastewater side, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, we've done, so when we do water lines, clean water, typically it's the same process, but things obviously have to change. There are ways you can go about it. If you're doing it in the middle of the winter, running a bypass isn't really the easiest way to make things happen because everything likes to freeze. Mm-hmm. But If you can set up a bypass to hook all the houses to while you're doing the process, it's great. If not, we've done it in the past where you set up a section and have to pull it and get it all hooked back up and all the houses hooked back up in a day. You got to have manpower to make that happen.
Yeah. The other thing that Alan and I learned with pipe bursting is that you don't try to GoPro inside the pipe when you're pipe bursting. Now, the thought was there. It was going to be it was a great idea.
It was going to be a kick-ass video.
It was going to look great until all we found was the light on the other end.
That's true.
Of that. So if you happen to be digging anywhere in Bryan, Ohio, there might be a GoPro about
It's free for the taking.
15 feet down.
It's like the golden ticket.
Yeah, it's down there a ways.
It's down there a ways.
Yeah, it's down there.
We will figure out how to do that video because it's a really cool process. It's a neat photo if you can get it. So anybody out there that covers marketing for construction companies, pipe bursting is a great job site to go to because especially if you're bursting clay pipe and pulling in the new pipe behind it, it's a neat photo to be able to catch that new pipe coming through that.
I mean,
old pipe.
There's no doubt that you've got some pretty sweet stuff from previous, jobs. So
yeah,
for sure, there's some cool photos.
So pipe bursting, horizontal directional drilling, and now we're into site prep, open cut stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anything that needs to go in the ground, we're going to find a way to do it.
Yeah, with what, 25, 27 years of experience and a lot of tenured guys, you're telling me it's a lot of competence is what it comes down to.
Yeah, and to be like, I guess part of what I enjoy with my job is being able to think outside the box for these things. The Inverness job specifically because it's just recent. It was a difficult task, but it was not something that you see. Oh yeah, they're just drilling down the side of the road today, gonna hook and pull. You had to problem solve and figure out, hey, how are we gonna get this pipe? Not only how are we gonna drill under there, but how are we gonna get this pipe to it to get it pulled in, and then how are we gonna make these connections? And I don't know, this is kind of how my brain functions. I like the problem solving aspect of it, and once it's done, I'm ready. And to be honest, sometimes when it's not done, like I get it to a certain point in a job, and it's what's the next challenge? Like restoration's boring to me, but it's part of the job. It has to be done, but I'm looking to the next thing.
And we host a lot of schools here just to see what the trades are like, see what construction is like. We host teachers. We give them the same stuff every time, but we give them a little bit different twist, I think, than maybe some other construction companies are educating the next generation in schools and of students and teachers. And the big one is what you just touched on. We always explain not just the figure it out mentality, but the ability to enjoy and dispatch creativity.
Well, and speaking of that, what did we have? We took a class uptown a few weeks ago, and then one of the kids, I remember he asked me, he says, "What's your favorite part about your job?" And it was just that, like the problem solving aspect, and just I feel like I have a pretty creative mind, so. Being able to problem solve and get creative on how we're going to approach a certain task, that's probably my favorite part of my job. And so.
Because you can plan before you ever set foot on a job site, but you are always going to run into the unpredictable stuff, right?
Well, there's how many years worth of stuff under the ground that we may or may not know is there. And ultimately, when these engineers draw these plans up, they're educated guesses as to what's there.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, maybe they didn't keep good records of whatever. A municipality doesn't have great records of their stuff. So we get there. It just happened over in Fort Wayne on one of our projects. Hey, we're going to drill this sewer force main in right down the middle of the road. That's great. There's probably, who puts anything in the middle of the road? There's probably nothing there. They dig the hole. There's a fiber right in the middle of where they need to dig the hole. So now what? Like, this is where there's nothing supposed to be here. What do we do? So,
and that's on the man-made stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you hit a bus-sized boulder in the middle of a bore path that you didn't know about?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that wasn't on the site plans.
Yeah, sorry, we missed that in the
Engineer.
soil boring.
Come on, engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think how do you balance the pre-site planning with the post on-site pivots that you have to make? Like, how much of the pre-planning actually goes into what you end up doing on site?
So obviously you want to hold as true to what they're asking for as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that happens daily where you have to pivot. I mean, there's always something that you have to work around. So you kind of have to use your past experiences in. I was just having this conversation with somebody earlier this week. He was asking me about how do you get good at digging something? Well, it's not necessarily the repetition of doing something, but it's being able to recall your past experience. So if I'm looking for, let's just say a water line, for instance, a water main, and it's marked right there, and I've got an excavator and I've got a guy there, and I'm going to start digging this thing. I know, based on everything I've done in the past, that water main is probably not just under the surface. So I have some leeway to just essentially hog down a little bit before I start poking around with a probe or shoveling. So I think that's paying attention as a young guy in the industry to the little things like that will progress with you faster, or make you progress faster. Just paying attention to, okay, a gas line is typically this depth, or a water line is typically this depth. So that way, when you do have to pivot, or you're searching for something, you can recall that and say, hey, we can go quick here, but then we need to slow down at this point. So to me, that's the fastest way to work around something.
Like when you're scheduling budget or scheduling a week, I'm just curious, like it's all day long, this is a 4-day job, all day long as the day is 4 days. Am I still budgeting 5 days to get it done for the unknowns? Or is it something that we're going out with 4, something hits the fan, we'll push something else back? And like, how's that planning look from a...
So it's that would be somewhat of a job by job, like,
okay.
thing. A 1-day job, you're not planning on 3 days just because of
the unknowns.
Unknowns. Those long-term projects, those are scheduled tighter. We're shooting for an average footage per day or per week. So if that compounds through the project, then you're hosed. I mean, it's just how it is. So you have to find a way to make up that average. If our average is 500 feet a week and you're only knocking down 250 for the first 2, like, how do we work around this? What do we got to change? And we've had conversations about this too. Like, when it comes to equipment, there's so much new stuff in the industry now. For a lot of years, I think you can get stuck in a rut with use what you got. That's just what we're going to do. I mean, that's what we've done it for this many years. That's the way we're going to keep doing it. Yeah, but why? What else? Why do they have this new reamer? Like, they didn't. Yeah, I get it. There's people out there that are just putting stuff together to sell. But I would imagine that if they're mass produced at this point and other people are using them, like, it might work.
That's for a reason.
Yeah. So being able to, like, I don't know, like, being open to trying new things is helpful.
Is that kind of where your role comes in as far as efficiency and trying new things, or where does that go?
I think it's progressed to that. Because we have had conversations here recently about that, like, and it was just that, why do they have new mud for directional drilling? Why do they have different types of reamers? And I think, I try to challenge that stuff. Just, is it going to work every time? No, I don't expect it to, but even down to restoration. Hey, what tools are gonna make restoration? Typically you don't get paid for restoration. You don't make money doing restoration. So what tools do these guys need to make this go faster and be done properly so that we can get out of there and go start making money somewhere else? So yeah, I mean, we're dealing with that right now with restoration, and I'm asking them just that, like, hey, I'll get you this, but if this, whatever it is, doesn't work, I need to know now, because it's, maybe we're renting it. We're not going to run out and buy things just off the cuff, but hey, we'll rent this for a week or a month or whatever it is, and then if it works, let me know. Great, maybe we'll look towards purchasing it. If it doesn't work, we need to move on. Like, so that's definitely part of my day-to-day, answering questions or providing that type of thing.
And I would say your role has changed a lot in the last, since I've been around, it's changed a lot. You've morphed into more of a leadership role. You see it on the job site. You see it in taking on those leadership calls that you've led. So talk a little bit about that transition from operator to lead to now really full on leadership role for you.
So I think it really, the Marine Corps has a lot to do with it. I can't deny that. The things that I learned there about leadership, there's just, they've done it the same way for 250 years. So coming to the civilian type job, you can't necessarily lead that way. You're not, nobody's locked into a contract. There's nothing like, you can't fire someone. I mean, you can fire someone in the Marine Corps, but you can't just send them on their way that easily. So I kind of use that mentality here too. Like, I'm not looking to fire people. That's not like, that sucks. Like, sending somebody on their way is bad. It's not a good feeling. So how do I use past experiences, leadership stuff that I've learned along the way to get these guys to understand what I'm asking of them? A lot of times I'll get a call, from a guy in the field that's questioning something that they have been asked to do by maybe somebody else. Well, maybe the words that were used by someone else were different than what they wanted to hear. But I know what those words meant. So trying to like reword something it's difficult because deep down inside, sometimes you're like, this is like, just do it. But and it's hard to really explain it. But I enjoy getting people to be like top performers, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of, so your clientele, if you will, your crews have really young guys, but you also have guys who have been here for the full 25 years. Yeah. I mean, you've got guys that are retirement working with guys that are, fresh out of the cuff. So how you're relaying or translating, it has to be a little bit different, right?
Yeah, you cannot talk to the young first year guy the same as you can talk to the 25-year guy. Mm-hmm. Like it just...
How does it look different? Like, what does that look like?
The explanation of a task is probably the most obvious thing that I could pick out. So I can't expect a young first-year guy to understand if I just give them a task with no more information. I can't expect it to get done the way that I've envisioned it to happen. The older guys that have been around and we've worked together, hey, go do this. And it's not go do this. That's a bad example. I don't ever want to be the guy ruling with an iron fist. I'm not gonna tell anyone what to do. I learned that not just from the Marine Corps, but like I've had bad bosses in the past. Everybody's had a bad boss or a good boss, and you try to piece all that stuff together. So, hey, Cole, before you leave today, would you mind going out there and sweeping up that floor that they just finished up? It's that versus Cole, go out there and sweep that floor. That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Like, could you do that to a 20, 25-year guy? Maybe. But then you have the generational, like, who's this kid telling me what to do? So read the room. I mean, that's just the way it is. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. Like, you have to build a relationship first and foremost before you can even try to ask these guys what to do. And going out, being on the job sites and doing the work with them, building that relationship on the job, not just here in the office type thing. They respect that.
Yeah, that's a huge piece, especially on my side. I'm not able to go out and do this stuff with them, but going out and showing them that I respect what they do and I respect them enough to ask them, hey, where can I be on the job site that I'm not in the way? I want you guys to still be able to do your jobs. Pretend like we're not here. That's fine. But I'll ask them questions about what they're doing with a general interest of understanding. And I think that's the biggest piece. When you're working in the construction world, and this is really for anybody that is out there thinking of getting into the construction world, it doesn't matter if you come in as a general laborer, if you come in on the sales team, or if you come in like I am on the marketing side. Understanding that respect is earned on the job site is a crucial part of getting anything done. Well,
you can't, there's just, in my opinion, there's no other way. You're not, I don't care what you get hired in as at any point. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't show a genuine interest in someone, it's not something, it's someone. And you don't have to go out there and ask them about what they're doing at home. Like, that doesn't matter most of the time to these guys. It's just being there, showing an interest in what's going on, and showing an interest in them, and that you're willing to give them information about what they need to be doing. Something that I've told a lot of these guys through the years, as I've moved up through the ranks, is if you take my job, I did my job. And I believe that, because, you know, if they're able to move into the position that I'm in going forward, either they've got it figured out and I've moved up and on, or I pretty much moved my way out. So, but they then have the information to do what they need to do moving forward.
I think that's a huge part of leadership right there. That whole message right there is the exact difference between a good leader, a good boss, and a bad leader, a bad boss, is when they're afraid of the people that are underneath them enough that they're keeping them at arm's length or not involving them in the things they want to involve or that they need to be involved in, because they're afraid of not looking smarter or not being their idea. I think that's the part where it falls apart. But a good boss will understand that you are essentially training your replacement. And that's a good thing, because you want to be that next person in line for whoever you're behind. Really, right. The only person that can not do that would be owner, CEO. You know, Dustin's not with us today, but would be him. That would be the only person that would be not technically training their next replacement.
But realistically, why wouldn't Dustin want to train his replacement?
That's a good question. I wish he was here to ask. We'll have to ask him.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, like we talked earlier, we're not all gonna be here forever. Like, it's just, there's always gonna be another generation. Like, as long as this place goes on, Dustin's not gonna, I mean, the dude wants to retire at some point, I would imagine. I mean, you get to a point where you don't have to do anything. You can just hang out and watch your business go. Yeah, cool. Mm-hmm. But, like, at some point, you kind of want to pass it off to the next guy. And I would think that you wouldn't want to just Dustin. I don't know.
You keep looking over there. He's not here.
He's not here. He should be there. But I would think that he would want to train someone to that point, and not just have someone come in and take that position, because that kind of goes back to the respect thing and working with the guys and building them up to what you want.
And I think if I could boil down kind of what we're talking about, just to kind of wrap up this leadership segment, that we're dancing around the difference of a leader and a manager. If you were to put it in corporate terms, a manager hops out of the truck with the iPad, does some measurements, asks a couple questions, demands a couple things, and then hops back in the AC truck, goes back to the office to not be seen again for the rest of the day, whatever. A leader is not necessarily always having to be in the pit with the guys, because then they're not growing, but they are finding new ways every day and every week to still be a part of the team while pulling from the front rather than pushing from the back and saying, go faster, go faster. They're saying, hey, guys, I'm up here. I need you to come with me. If I could boil it down, it'd be the difference of a manager and a leader for sure.
Well, with that, I've had conversations with guys too, as a leader on a job site specifically. So, the job site foreman, it's very easy. And I've been there. It's very easy to get tunnel vision when you're directly involved with a task. So we'll just use a water line connection, for instance. You're down in a hole, you're bolting this thing together or fusing something together. You're in there actively performing the task. But let's say you have 2 or 3 other guys down the road that are doing something else that you've tasked out. Well, maybe their task got done sooner than your task, and now they come back to you and you're down in the hole doing what you got to do to get this thing done, and they come back and say, well, we're done down there. What do we want to do next? What do you want us to do next? Well, now your sole focus is on what you're doing. That slows the whole process down. So like being able to remove yourself from task specific jobs is probably one of the hardest things to do as a leader on a job site.
You came off a crew, 6 months ago? 5?
It's been a process. So probably within the past year, roughly, I've been slowly removing myself from actively running or overseeing a job. I don't like the term running a job, but being on a one specific site every day. But the process is slow because of you're trying to train your replacement, and then you're also starting to get phone calls or questions from other job foremen that have stuff that maybe they're just questioning something, and then you might have an answer to, so they call and ask about it. So I've slowly removed myself from.
Would you say it's something that, like, releasing that grip was something that you struggled with at first?
Oh, it's awful because I still like to work.
Yep.
Like,
you don't have to lie to us, dude.
I just rolled up here from pouring some concrete. And jumped into a podcast. I changed my shirt in the parking lot. So,
Thank you.
I still like to get after it, but deep down, I know that I can't submerge myself in a task and be able to be available to answer those questions of people that are calling and saying, hey, I need this equipment, or do you have a guy that I can have tomorrow, or whatever it is. Like, I can give you an answer when I'm in a task, but I don't have the ability to really process it.
You're not looking up and out. It's half baked. It's half. There's a reason why coaches don't wear jerseys on the sidelines. Right. There's your sports analogy.
There it is.
There's a reason coaches aren't on the field.
There it is.
Because they can't make the calls.
No, you have to look from a broader view, a broader spectrum. Like, there's just no way to be solely focused on a task and provide the complete information for the rest of the job.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you've got to tell us, we're a little ways into this, and before we wrap up,
Can we finish there?
Yeah.
I want one more. I want to talk blue collar and the trades just in general. If you could maybe debunk some myths, or, this is broad, debunk some myths, or just bring light to maybe facts or details that the trades have brought you, or what they maybe haven't brought you over the last 12-ish years. Because the trades are hot right now. We obviously we did a podcast because the trades are hot. We want to bring light to it. One of the core pillars of this Trenchless table is to bring light to what is out there for the next generation. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, maybe we're even guilty of it, we might over glamorize what the trades can bring you. So I'm curious, because I don't actually know from actual field knowledge, because look at my hands. From your angle, I'd be curious to know any of those.
Well, first and foremost, I think you have to understand that it's not just a bunch of running around slinging shovels. you do still have to use your brain when you come into any trade. It doesn't. I don't care if you're a painter, just coming in here to paint this room. Somebody's got to figure out how much paint you need to use it to do it. So it's not all brainless work. It's not necessarily about who can get the dirtiest on the job. I think that is there's a few people in this company that I swear they show up for work and think, if I get the dirtiest today, I got her made. But
I'm smiling because that'd be me. I wouldn't get much done, but I'd freaking get dirty.
yeah,
It's quick.
So there is a lot in touching on creativity. Again, there's a lot of thinking outside the box that you have to do every single day. So there's a lot of times where I go home and I may not be physically exhausted, but my brain is done for the day. So I'll go home, take my boots off, kick back in the easy chair, and that's it. My body's not beat, but my brain is done for the day.
Growing up, did you know you kind of had that? Were you cognizant of like, I can dissect some things. I can think decent. Or was that something that was kind of learned as you went?
I think it's always been there. I think even like in high school, I started a landscaping business. Most would say a lawn mowing business, but I didn't want to stop at mowing grass. I dove into building retaining walls and patios and stuff like that. So like, I was pretty young, but I knew like that I wanted to be creative and use my brain, but also use my body at the same time, because it was fun to me to get things done. And that's something that I struggle with now. And I think that a lot of guys may be in the same boat when it comes to underground construction. Because we're not building a structure. It's not something visually that everyone can see at the end of the day.
Yeah, using the eyes.
Yeah, there's nothing fancy about it. So at the end of the day, when I walk off a job site and I turn around and look and say, it looks the same as it did when I got here.
Actually, might look a little worse till this grass comes back in.
But it's tough. It's hard if your brain needs that to, qualify what you did for the day when everything's just buried. So that's, I think, kind of part of why the getting something done and moving on to the next piece for me works, because I need that challenge. I need to find that next thing.
And I think as dudes, we're wired pretty much similarly in some way, shape, or form. So I absolutely. Go back to a myth real quick. If you could think of one. I know I didn't prep you with anything here. One that I think of is, like I said, we bring high schoolers in, middle schoolers, whatever, teachers in, and we're always glamorizing the pay. We're glamorizing the benefits. We're glamorizing not having the college debt, et cetera. We're glamorizing, hey, you got to come in, you got to be a doer, you got to be creative, which I love, because I think that nails it. Like, you have to use your brain still, guys. But one thing we don't tell them is, hey, you got to be in here at 6. And you're probably not getting off the job site till maybe 6. And you're going to be outside when it's hot as balls.
Yeah.
Like, then the list goes on and on. You would know more. Is there anything that you think maybe is the mainstream is not actually giving the truth right now about the trades? Besides, maybe I just stole thunder, but.
No, I mean, the days are hard. I mean, and I think, I guess I don't know a myth off the top of my head. I'm sure if I scrolled through Instagram right now and found some made a video about blue collar this or that, I could find it pretty quickly. But off the top of my head, no. It's honest work, and you have to put in some work in yourself. Like you have to work on yourself, I think, more than most people think.
Because it's a team sport.
It is 100% a team sport, and I think people kind of lose that sometimes when they get on a job site.
A sport analogy.
That they can just work like an all day long. Just because you worked hard all day doesn't mean that you got something done.
Yeah, wow. Unless you're a golfer and you shoot 37.
That's terrible on 9.
I don't. Regardless, Lee, what were you going to finish with?
Sports analogies for Cole limit golfing right there. That we found Cole's limit.
There's the Achilles heel.
So no, I wanted to talk about your side hustle. So how does a former Marine, well, still a Marine, but go from the Marine Corps to hockey player to construction worker to now Ohio Hat Company making custom headwear? How does that happen? How do we get
and
here?
Accessories.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of it plays into the creative mind that we've covered numerous times at this point. And also what we covered about what I see when I turn around at the end of the day, getting in my truck, leaving a job site. Like, there's nothing to show for it. So I need a creative outlet, and I found it somewhat by mistake, really. I used to do a lot of woodworking stuff. So I had a CNC router that I would make whatever came to mind, signs and things, just stuff. And it was fun. Had a great time. My wife and Pinterest got together, and she would send me this stuff. Hey, can you make this? What do you think about making that? That's great. I can probably do that. But everything that she sent me was not made on a CNC router. So it was all laser cut. So I started looking at lasers. I found a laser, didn't really know what I was going to do with it, so hell, I'll buy it. Bought it. It was fairly inexpensive. So get it home. Don't know what still, this thing's sweet. What am I going to make? Start throwing stuff in it. Get a call from actually one of the guys from work here, and he's like, hey, man, my buddy's got a wedding coming up. What do you think about trying to do some of those leather patches for some hats? Man, I'll try anything once. So I bought some cheap stuff on off of Amazon, lasered it, turned out great. And then I went down the rabbit hole. But I've always been a hat guy. I've worn a hat
Because you're bald.
forever. No, I'm not bald.
Never seen your hair.
It's flowing.
'Kay.
It's glorious.
Continue.
They'll have to pay for the subscription.
is that on the
for that.
Patreon?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
I just have a joke
Don't-
real quick. Your wife and Pinterest getting together is better than your wife and Steve getting together. So I just wanted to get that out there.
What about Johnny?
Or
Why
Johnny.
we gotta leave Johnny?
Johnny's
out of
a
it?
though.
Johnny's
Johnny's name. He ain't getting with your wife, dude.
Johnny's got some different names.
Your
that
wife
I'm-
has better taste than
I'm
Pinterest
gonna leave
can.
out.
Continue,
Yeah.
brother, man.
No. So I did these hats for this wedding party, and like I said, found the rabbit hole, went down it, and I loved it. And I thought, man, I could probably do something with this. So dudes like hats, construction dudes love hats, especially free ones, but I'm not really in the business of giving away free hats too much. But hey, what better way to kind of combine what I do daily? I have, a great network working here and being out on job sites with different contractors and stuff like that. So I started making them, and it's taken off. I mean, I'm a terrible marketer, so that's lacking. But
I will say, you talk about work, and we could talk for a while, right? But you come upstairs and you tell Leah or I about something you got going on, or a new thing you tried, or something. Throw a hat at us. Hey, what do you think about this? You're like a little kid.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
Well, and with that being said, too, that's part of what's so cool about it is it is a tangible item that I made, and I'm excited about it. But what's even more exciting about it is when I give it to you and you're excited about it. And then you could go off and tell your buddies or whatever, like, check out this hat. And then like, it's cool to know. And then since I've been doing it now for a little while, to catch them out in the wild, like it was last year, we were working a job in Toledo, and I was meeting a guy that was going to do some sub work for us, and he climbs out of his truck. He was a little ways away. I kind of looked at him. Hey, man, that's a sweet hat. Where'd you get that? And he starts rambling on about where he got this hat from. And I'm like, no, dude, I know where you got that hat from. I made that. And so that was cool, just say, hey, man, and not to say, hey, Cole, check it out. I did that. But just for me, myself, I can say, man, I did that,
Yeah.
So it's fun, and it's typically, unless it's an order of 1,000, it's something different every time. So I can be creative a lot of times. I mean, Lee gives me some creative freedom to go put something together, and hey, this is my idea. I get to throw it together and put it out there.
Yeah, I don't sketch it down, but if you need me to draw it out, I can.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give me a hand drawing, that's 100% okay. We'll roll with it.
We'll roll with it. And, Alan is training the next generation in the hat world too, because I just renegotiated his son's employment deal with him because he was trying to underpay his son on hats, and I got him a new deal. So
Hold on.
Thank you.
Hold on.
He's 7. What am I supposed to pay him?
More than what you were. That's all we're going to say. We're not going to blast you out. So don't try to find out. We got him a better deal. Don't worry.
On the real though, like kind of wrapping up, as far as trades are long days, they are hard days, they are rewarding days, but there is still margin.
Yeah.
There is still time for passions and purpose outside of the job site. There is still time for side gigs. There is still time for
Family.
Your wife didn't leave you for Steve, so she's still around. There's still time for family, and then bring in little dudes or little gals, whoever's in your home, in with what you're doing. I think that's if I could highlight what you're doing, I think that's the coolest thing. Is like you've made it a family thing, out of just something that you're passionate about, and it's on the side from your honest day's work here.
Well, so we can, now that you said that, we could track back to the myths about construction. So yes, I do have time to do it. Is it as much as I need at certain times? Probably not. But I don't dictate that. Like the hat orders dictate that type of thing. But aside from the side hustle, we mentioned I like to play hockey. I play for a lot of different teams across, at this point, I've played for a lot of different teams across the country in my adult years. Like, this isn't just, I played hockey in high school back in my prime type thing. Like, I still actively play today. And I am fortunate enough here that I have some leeway if I choose to take a day off or whatever if I've got a tournament going on, but I can do that. You can still do that type of thing, and you're not supposed to not have a life outside of work. And I would say a lot of blue collar guys would probably disagree with me. But I think the generation that's coming up is not that they don't want to work, but they still want to have their freedoms. I think everyone wants to have their freedoms. I mean, you guys, we all want to be able to go enjoy something that we enjoy other than just slaving away every day, all day long, dark to dark, and not have time to go do anything. And that is possible. You can 100% enjoy something outside of work.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's wrap up. I've got some rapid fire questions for you. You got to answer.
Ooh.
You ready to go?
Let's see what happens.
All right. Favorite hockey player of all time?
I'm going to go with Dominik Hasek.
I'll have to look him up. Don't know who that is. Hardest
Rick
soil.
Nash. Was it not? Are we not asking me too?
Favorite hockey player?
Rick Nash.
All right. Perfect.
Carry on.
Hardest soil condition to bore through? Solid rock, cobble, clay. What is it?
It's kind of a loaded question.
Just give me one. Rapid fire.
No. We're going to explain this. I'll make it quick. Solid rock, it's solid rock. You're going into it. You're teed up. You got the equipment to drill through solid rock. Can it get hard? Yes. Cobble, terrible, because it can knock you in many different directions, and you don't know what you're getting into. Carry on.
Okay. Cole?
I have no idea.
Okay. Clay. Who is your dream company to design a hat for?
Whew. Any company that gives me creative freedom to provide them a hat in massive quantities.
Love it. What is your number one piece of advice for a young person starting in construction?
Listen more than you talk.
2 ears, 1 mouth.
Love it. All right. Well, Alan, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do here for us. Thanks for joining us at the Trenchless table. And ultimately, thanks for your friendship outside of this.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
See you
Thanks.
guys.
Peace.
That was a lot cooler in my head.